Why did you have Johanka imprisoned?
I talked to her for a long time about the things she was saying and about her convictions. I warned her that she had to stop preaching in public, and I told her if she had any further concerns, or as she claims, visions, she should come to me. Johanka chose to ignore my warning and continued with her preaching. Obviously, I couldn't turn a blind eye to that kind of disobedience.
But what's so bad about what Johanka has been saying?
Look here. It's simply unacceptable that anyone at all should come along and stand up in the market square and preach about God's will or how he or she interprets it. God gave us his teachings, which we must honor, and he showed us how to fulfill them. It is only those teachings that lead us on the path to salvation and God's grace. But understanding those teachings is no simple matter. It demands learning, time, and effort. That is one of the tasks of Holy Mother Church. What Johanka has been saying is dangerously close to heresy. She must be brought to see the error of her ways, and her disruptive actions must cease.
But Johanka hasn't done anything against God. On the contrary, she's devout, and she's trying to redeem sinners.
Perhaps, but she's also incited disobedience to the nobles, and that is a serious accusation. Think of it like this. You have to pass through a dark forest filled with hazards. Many paths lead to that forest, but only one will lead you safely through it. You know which is the right path, but others don't. Would you show them the right path, or leave each to choose his own and very likely lose his way?
I'd show them the right path, but it would be up to them whether to take it or not.
But then many would lose their way and die. Because of you. Where it concerns God's mercy and grace, we cannot allow that to happen. You must understand that it is the mission of the Church to care for the soul of every person. It is our sacred duty to lead the people to salvation.
How does the Church know which is the right path?
Watch how you speak, Henry, and how you consider such matters. God is the fountain of truth, and he is represented on earth by his holy Church, and none other. The Church was built on the foundations of Christ's apostles, who passed on his wisdom to others, as they passed on the task of leading people to the love of God and thereby to salvation. Do you think the Church would now want to lead the people to damnation? That we would consciously corrupt the task that the Son of God passed on to us? We would be condemning not only the people, but ourselves too. It would extinguish the very sense of our existence.
You're right, Monsignor. Sorry, all this learning at once was a bit much for me. I got confused. I apologize. Thank you for having the patience to explain it to me.
Good. I'm glad I've dispelled your confusion. I will excuse your error. But in future do not be misled, because that will open your mind to Lucifer himself. And that's the very reason why Johanka was wrong to indulge in philosophizing and leading people astray.
Monsignor, Johanka is just a simple village girl from Skalitz. Are all these legal proceedings really necessary?
They are. The mission of the Inquisition is quite unequivocal, and however trivial, this matter has a broader significance.
What broader significance?
No offense, but these things can't easily be explained to an uneducated boy like you. Still, I'm pleased that you take an interest. Unfortunately, I don't have time for this now. If you really want to know more, Ask my assistant. After all, it is also our duty to guide others through the labyrinth of this world.
But Johanka was visited by the Virgin Mary, so what she says can't be wrong.
We only have her word for that, and even if her visions were real, she was at fault for interpreting them as she saw fit and preaching to the people.
So you think she should have spoken to the parish priest about it?
Exactly. And the priest would have sent for someone who would look into the matter. Like me, for instance. In short, it's not for her to interpret such things in her own way. If people believed her and started thinking what they want about it, soon everyone would be adrift in confusion, and the true message would be lost.
Aha. I think I understand.
I'm glad you do, my son.
Monsignor, it occurs to me that maybe this situation with Johanka could be resolved in a different way.
Is that so? Pray, enlighten me.
I want to defend Johanka in a duel. If God is willing, and I win, then Johanka will be cleared.
And who do you propose to fight? Me? Or the Archangel Gabriel?
How should I know? With someone. Let God decide.
Solving disputes by such barbaric means is a throwback to ancient pagan times, and the Holy Church will not tolerate it. It is an offense to God to demand that he resolve disputes that it is our duty to resolve. No, Henry, it's out of the question. I don't want to hear another word about it.
I'm ready, Monsignor.
Excellent. I have also completed my investigation. We may commence then with the proceedings?
Yes.
Good. I will send for everyone who is to bear witness and have Johanka brought before the court. We'll commence first thing tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. These are solemn proceedings that demand a certain decorum. I won't tolerate any clanking armor or otherwise inappropriate attire. You will wear this robe.
Of course. Thank you, Monsignor.
Very well. Rest now, and we'll meet in the morning. Farewell. Let us begin. Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov, by the grace of God, Papal Inquisitor, have come here to Sázava in response to reports of Marian visitations and the preaching activities of one Johanka, a commoner. And I have found indeed that by her arbitrary words she's been leading good people astray and encouraging their rebellion against their betters. Furthermore, Johanka has attempted to usurp the glory that belongs alone to Holy Mother Church, and to appoint herself as an intermediary of the wisdom and grace of Almighty God. This does not behove any layperson, and certainly not a woman. It is therefore necessary to remedy her transgressions, and to investigate the extent and the basis of her misguidance. Or, as the case may be, heresy. Henry of Skalitz has elected to appear here in Johanka's defense, and his wish has been allowed. Anyone who elects to speak here does so before God, and shall be bound by a most sacred oath, to speak only the truth. I will first hear the testimony of Father Fabian, who sent me word of this matter, and who should best know what deeds are done in his parish. Father Fabian, will you tell us what Johanka has been proclaiming?
Johanka claims that she has received visitations from Our Lady, the Holy Mother of God, who speaks to her in the night. It is an outrageous claim that I hold to be entirely untrue.
And did Johanka come forward to ask your advice regarding these alleged apparitions?
She did not. Instead, she took it upon herself to spread her supposed wisdom to the people.
And prior to this, did Johanka attend church? Did you see her at your sermons, Father?
I did not, Monsignor. What's more, the parish priest of Skalitz is staying at my presbytery just now. Johanka knows him well enough, but she didn't come to see even him. I believe Johanka is deliberately avoiding the church. Instead, she meets her followers secretly in the woods and preaches to them. Either she made everything up, or the devil himself is whispering in her ear.
Indeed. Avoidance of the church is one of the distinguishing signs of heresy.
As I surmised, Monsignor.
Let us continue, then. Father Fabian?
As you already said, Monsignor, it's not the place of a simple female to preach so-called wisdom.
You're right, Father Fabian. That is quite untoward. Let's proceed, then. Is there anything else you want to add, Henry?
I have nothing to add, Monsignor.
Fabian, have you had trouble with heretics before, or had any suspicions of heresy here?
Not much, Monsignor. Now and then there have been traveling preachers and various charlatans here and there. Although, I did recently get reports that there were members of the Waldensian sect hiding in the province.
Waldensians? So there have been heretics concealed here. So, it cannot be ruled out that Johanka also associated with them. Perhaps they are even behind this matter, too. Thank you, Father Fabian. That's all.
I'm glad to have been of service, Monsignor.
Call Hoshek, bailiff of Sázava. Bailiff, has there been any suspicious activity here recently?
Well, there have been cumins on the rampage in the woods and on the roads, and all sorts of bands of footpads and brigands around the province. But otherwise, it's all been peaceful and quiet here, Monsignor.
How reassuring. And what of Johanka, bailiff? Has she been inciting the people here?
I couldn't tell you much about her. I hardly know her. She hasn't broken any laws, and folks speak well of her, for the most part. Although it's true, things have been a bit tense here, on account of her speeches.
Continue.
Quite a lot of people have been going to her since she started with that preaching. Some are even convinced she's a holy woman. From what I heard, they bring her small gifts or ask for her advice or blessing.
Sacrilege! People coming for blessings and bringing her gifts. That has all the makings of a cult.
Oh, I don't know, Monsignor. Begging your pardon, but that's overstating it a bit. But it's true. They met outside town too, and it came to a bit of a skirmish. Nothing serious happened, though. Fellas punching each other in the mouth. If you'll excuse me, Monsieur, that happens all the time. Well, that's about all I can tell you, Monsignor.
Thank you, Bailiff. That will be all. And you, Henry, you've been around Johanka more than anyone. Do people come to her for blessings?
I don't know anything about that. But when someone comes to her, she tries to help them, like a good Christian.
Henry, I'm sure you're aware that to lie here is a mortal sin and a crime.
I do. And I'm not lying.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing else, Monsignor.
Very well. Now, I wish to question Katra, the swordsmith's wife. Bring her here. Katra, you are a respected townswoman who has a good overview of what goes on in Sázava. As you told me earlier, will you tell me now what you know of Johanka and her deeds?
Yes, I'll tell you everything, Monsignor. Johanka has been putting ideas into people's heads and causing chaos. What right has she to preach to us? A simple girl like that? As if we were bad people here, and she herself is a sinner? And an adulterer, a loose woman she is, who goes with anyone, and even fornicated with the custodian, Sir Sebastian.
That's nothing but slander.
Quiet, Henry. I will deal with this matter in a moment. All right, Katra. That will be all. I have also heard rumors of Johanka's immorality that cannot be ignored. Bring here the Sázava custodian, Sir Sebastian von Berg. Sir Sebastian, my apologies for raising the matter, but doubts have been cast on your virtue. I have been told that you have shared your bed with Johanka. Is it true?
Monsignor, with respect, this is surely some mistake. Johanka is not a bad girl, and by no means a heretic.
Noted. Now please answer my question. Did you share your bed with Johanka or not?
Yes, but she's not...
Silence! So, Johanka not only incites rebellion against the nobles, but also seduces them into sin and immorality.
That's not true. Johanka never seduced anyone. It's the other way round. He wouldn't leave her alone from the moment she came to Sázava. He simply took advantage of her misfortune and his own status to get her into bed.
How dare you! Silence! Henry?
Johanka regrets it. What was she to do when she was constantly pursued by a nobleman who has great influence in the area?
What I did out of love for her. Johanka is no heretic, only a confused, unhappy young girl. There's no call for jumping to the conclusion of heresy. Monsignor, you must be able to see that.
I advise caution, sir. Would you cast doubt on the authority of the Church in this trial?
I will no longer tolerate this humiliation. Get out of my way!
Henry? You've been very keen to appear here in Johanka's defense. You've said a lot about her, but please, tell me why you've been helping her all this time.
Monsignor, she's my friend. After the terrible things that happened in Scallis, neither of us has many dear ones left. It seemed only right to me to help her.
You seem like a compassionate man. It certainly says something about Johanka, that someone like you stands up for her. That will be all, Henry.
Monsignor, please permit me to say one more thing. I heard some wise words at a sermon in Scallis, and I think I should share them here. It's our Christian duty to fight against sin. But we must love the sinner. So I beg you, Monsignor, be lenient to Johanka.
You're right, Henry. Those are wise words. Nothing remains but to question Johanka herself. Johanka of Skalitz, you've heard the accusations brought against you, and we have also heard several testimonies. I already questioned you earlier. Johanka, do you wish to revise the answers you gave earlier, or do you stand by what you said?
I stand by everything I told you.
So be it. I expressly forbade you to continue preaching, and you promised not to do so. You defied my instruction and broke your promise. Why?
Forgive me, Monsignor. But I could do nothing else. Our Lady asked me to do it, and I couldn't refuse her. And I did the right thing. The Virgin Mary visited me again in my cell and showed me new things. Monks and prelates who took off their robes and put on princely cloaks instead. They threw down their staves, buckled on swords, and placed crowns on their heads. They rejected Christ's example and hoarded wealth for themselves. They paid no heed to the people, but only gave them absolution for money and...
Silence! You will not speak like that. I have already heard more than enough. These proceedings are closed. You may leave. Johanka will now hear my verdict.
Johanka, are you aware you're facing very grave accusations?
Yes, Monsignor. I am.
You stand accused of preaching from ignorance and leading the people away from the protective embrace of Holy Mother Church. If you do not recant, you will suffer grave consequences.
Pride and ignorance clouded her reason.
Child, it would distress me greatly to have to pronounce a verdict of condemnation. Speak then. Do you recant your sermons and swear never again to preach to the people? And are you prepared to repent?
As God is my witness, I did all this with good intentions. And the Virgin Mary did visit me, and I would be lying before her, before God and my own conscience, if I denied it.
you don't recant and return to the bosom of Holy Mother Church, then you have sealed your own fate. Take her. We must all be ever vigilant of Lucifer's evil designs and avoid being caught in his snares. Only Holy Mother Church can safeguard all Christian folks from the onslaught of the devil. Only Holy Mother Church cares for their souls so they may find salvation in the kingdom of heaven.
It's all true, and the will of the Blessed Virgin, her sacred will that I will never recant.
Sometimes, to save the body of the true church, it is necessary to amputate a gangrenous limb.
Full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed be the fruit of thy womb. Jesus. Holy Mary, of God.
Johanka of Scarlets refuses to accept the truth and recant her delusive preaching. Her tongue is an instrument of the devil. It must be plucked out and cast from the body of the heretic, along with the devil, so that her soul may be purged of evil.
Despite her suffering, Johanka remained faithful to her conviction. Brother Nicodemus tried to heal her terrible wounds, but in vain. Her cruel punishment was too much to endure. Matthias never lived to hear of Johanka's fate. Soon afterwards, he succumbed to his sickness. Although it's forbidden to bury a heretic in consecrated ground, we lay Johanka and Matthias to rest together, side by side, in a place where I hope they will finally find peace. As Brother Nicodemus said, surely God will forgive us for following our hearts.